way, basically. But if you're playing even other people, aka if it's in a really late game scenario and Meepo has about as much farm as some of the other cores, he's not going to feel very good. But if you can get ahead and pressure effectively, that's how you make Meepo feel good. The biggest thing against him right now is that it takes a long time to get divided. We stand 4 right now on Meepo, so you don't get to accelerate quite as fast as you used to be able to. So as long as Storm doesn't crush it mid and Meepo gets a little bit ahead and gets some really smart ganks off, then he can absolutely carry this game with the matchup.
All right, looking sort of elsewhere on these side lanes, you know, this draft sort of outside of the Meepo. Anything that you feel is going to be really onto your Toro? Go on. I mean, and overall as well, you know, for yatoro on the Morph, as you said, we saw last game, of course, NoTechies. Crystallize's Morph had an incredible game. Is this game going to be tricky for yatoro? Much that he's got to be aware of?
I mean, his matchups are okay. He doesn't have to worry too much about Chainstone, for example. There aren't really any obvious Orchid heroes, so Morphling seems just like a fairly strong carry here in terms of the matchups. And if he has a good laning stage, obviously things get completely out of control. So Morphling, in a way, is sort of like your cheese sort of like lane win. It's like, let's say, Ursa in past patches, where it's like, oh, well, you just crush the lane, so they have to leave kind of a thing. If Morphling has a good early game, that's kind of what happens with this pitch advantage, and it just gives you such lane control from a carry position. Ooh, maybe call him a push here. He doesn't have arrow. But yeah, so basically, if Morphling has a good laning stage, he can just completely dominate the offlaners by himself, and then it just gives you a lot of resources, very similar to what Brian put.
Down bottom, we'll see how much of a good time Crystallize is going to be able to have against these two melee heroes. Collapse is so bad. Whilst both being melee, they've still got pretty good burst potential between the two of them. Top, yatoro. Have they got enough damage to do the shifting they have? That'll be the first blood there. The two of them are able to just right-click him out of the lane there at this stage. Of course, the attribute shift just not high enough level to shift him into the strength quick enough.
Kappa started that one. That one was a blind arrow, basically. He landed the arrow as Morphling retreated, and they followed up on it, but he had missed his initial one in the lane, but basically they used God's Rebuke to apply the slow from God's Rebuke and the Orb of Venom, and then they tried to land arrow afterwards. In that circumstance, it was arrow into the other follow-up, but Morphling's real slow, 280 movement speed, so the fact that he went for Adaptive Strike and not Waveform maybe cost him his life there, but maybe he thought he would get more last hits this way.
Ways. Certainly going to have to be careful. They can't afford for them all to die early in the laning stage. So quite a different showing from Crystallize last game. Didn't die at all on his Morph. Game 1 of this series. Seeing lane, yeah, TORONTOTOKYO. Slightly with the CS, but Ergon hasn't had any problems. Hitting the level 4, getting a second Meepo out. And now, of course, begins that sort of period where we are going to see Meepo farm. You would imagine to be incredibly quickly. See how well he's able to utilize the jungle.
It's actually going to be a big aspect. So, I don't know why Mirana arrow a large creep us. Did it.
It's hers now.
He killed the Alpha Wolf. Stacking's a really big deal, though. This is kind of cool. Rune, while stacking small camp, it's going to go to Storm, though. But the small camp very easy for Meepo to clear here. Stacks are big if it transitions Meepo getting ahead. Mixed stacks are just going to sap some of this experience. It's not really worth them using Impale to get one tiny little giant wolf. Mirana back to the top lane again. The fact that he could get all this done without Mars being completely owned was pretty solid, and they've got Orb of Corrosion on Mars too. Kind of not that incredible, but the generic stats of it are going to be really good against everybody other than Morph.
And sort of for Team Spirit, how would you like to see them play against the Meepo? Like, is there sort of intention going to be to hunt the Meepo aggressively, or are you going to look to just try and punish the rest of his team whilst he's still in this phase of focusing on his own game and not really quite able to help out side lanes?
Both of those are definitely options and you can do against Meepo. Killing stacks or limiting stacks can be really effective. Putting wards down where you expect the stacks to be, that way you can gank later on is really effective. But I think generally just killing him is certainly a really good option. Voice Spray in trouble bot though.
Oh yeah, with that.
Ooh. Got this Malik.
Oh, only just getting out of that. Lots of I mean, Solo's still trying for it. And oh, he's done it! He's actually done it there, Solo. My goodness, very nicely done. I mean, he pretty much, I mean, he did it perfectly there. Solo with that complete chase from from his jungle over towards behind the tier 1.
Ward on the cliff, and that allowed him to spot where the Void Spirit was moving, made it a little bit easier. Or not, but can go here on Monkey King as well, so it's gonna be really nice. They can use this to zone out Void Spirit, deal some damage to him if they really want to. Maybe get a kill on Nyx's.
I've been wanting this.
Just seeing, you know, now with the solar bind ability that you can just have that easy setup to make sure that, you know, they can run, but you're gonna hit them with at least 2 illuminates on the way out.
Cool, Meepo rotating over to clear this super big stack, which in some ways is pretty nice, right? Like, he gets the gold on Meepo, he's splitting the experience like 2 or 3 ways, but in that moment, this Assassin was a little zoned as well, so they pump a little EXP into the safe lane. Mirana takes the mid lane. In the meantime, this is another nice thing about having Meepo. He's so good at jungling that it makes it really easy for you to catch up in experience in your 4. And because Malik was doing pretty good against the Morphling in the laning stage, it doesn't hurt him to just dip the Mirana away briefly either. So once again, they're just kind of maximizing their gold game.
They're getting in aggressive with the move from TORONTOTOKYO straight in onto Crystallize underneath the tower. Will manage to take in there. TP was being thought about, but not feeling that they could do anything to turn things around against the Tree of Spirit.
Catapult will die here most, but good rotation for sure. Limiting Monkey King's ability to impact will be helpful if they can get those kills. Like Meepo queuing up super normal items, a couple Wraith Bands going Blade as well. More stacks to clear. If we check his net worth in comparison to everybody else, he's just a fraction of it, like a little hair ahead of Storm. So nothing really incredible just yet. Maybe he'll get a lot more done. I haven't seen real proof of Meepo being incredible just yet. Maybe there's Meepo.
That's on the Zayac, but instantly out. He's leaping away. TORONTOTOKYO's got the chase. Drags him back with the vortex and still plenty of mana to play with, as they'll be able to chase and finish off the Mirana.
So I wasn't sure he was going to leap the 3rd time there. At that point, he seemed very dead. And he makes Storm spend some mana, but Storm's got Clarity Potions. He gets a regen now. It might limit the Mirana. Not the biggest deal. It's only
regeneration.
She's also level 5, which is pretty solid, I gotta say.
Radiant's middle tower.
Gonna leave the almost likely available.
They're gonna go on Crystallize again. TORONTOTOKYO continuing to keep this pressure onto the Monkey King with these movements down towards the bottom lane. And 2, yeah, very painful destiny now for Crystallizes. His game is definitely getting shaken up by TORONTOTOKYO's movements.
And it doesn't even hurt Storm either. That regen is still going here. He got full duration out of that regen. So,
Dire's top tower
so far,
does
Meepo feel as valuable as Storm? Absolutely not.
My pet thanks you.
Back underway. TORONTOTOKYO's doing so far with his quick lead, and actually, we're seeing him himself. Do you like, I was talking about the Witchblade on the Monkey King, Witchblade on the Storm. Do you think this works well with sort of the timings of the Storm, or do you not necessarily like how it disrupts maybe some of the other more traditional items that Storm likes to buy?
That's kind of cool. So I think the reason he's doing this is because of the Meepo, actually. Okay. Because Witchblade is an excellent item on paper for They don't usually have very good agility gains, which means that they don't have very good armor usually. And Storm normally doesn't care that much because he's got pretty high armor naturally. But against like really high physical damage sources, getting a little bit extra can be nice. Like against a Slardar or something, hypothetically just having free armor on Storm is really high. So maybe because of like the high physical damage coming from Meepo, coming from Mars, coming from wants him to have this like earlier tempo item. And also the other thing is that Orchid isn't very good against Meepo, right? Yeah. Silencing just one Meepo doesn't do very much, so I think he's trying to get like similar levels of in offense, but also that hybrid of armor is going to
Radiant's bottom
it does actually get caught later on. I think that's why he's altering his item build past the
Sure, and he's definitely going to have a very quick timing on it. Keep up this pace, still holding us that top spot here, TORONTOTOKYO. Thanks for those first few kills that he's been able to get involved in. Overall, though, NoTechies as a
Radiant's
team
bottom
crawling a
tower
little
is
bit
under
ahead in
attack.
farm. 1k lead
Radiant
overall
structures are fortified.
across the 5 of them. Spirit, seeing him get space for yatoro. I mean, obviously losing that top tower, but now I mean that the wave is in a much safer place for yatoro to farm without too much worries about being caught, at least until that blink is done, and then you can imagine that Malik is going to be ready to get
scanning.
very aggressive.
Radiant's middle tower
They're
is under
gonna
attack.
try to defend their safe lane tower. One downside of the Void Spirit's not the best pusher here. Barely misses taking that therapist damage. And once they blast the wave, it's catapult v catapult, and here's an arrow as well. Yeah, they're doing a great job defending. Thrown in.
And out there able to get themselves straight over towards Solo. They'll start things off with a quick and easy cold kill, and the static storm's down. He's trapped Ergon. Ergon in trouble, and he's just going to be straight up dead. A big kill for Team Spirit as they are able to get in and find that
Radiant's
Meepo.
bottom
Ergon
tower
not
is
able to get
full.
himself out of the area in time.
Power of Disruptor, man. Barely touched in almost all regions, but today just we're being reminded that it's a really strong hero, not just because of the fact that you can force these kills and up your tempo, but also because Static Storm is just such a multi-purpose
Radiant's
strong
middle tower
ulti. Like
is
there's
under
so
attack.
many strong mobility cores, it feels like you have to have like mobility cores play right now. There's a spirit in every single game basically. Having the ability to just silence for 5 seconds is so powerful. It's those kinds of heroes. Way better than having like a 1.5 second stun like most people.
No bad. Teasing out a few leaps here from Zayac. Move to the 12-minute rune spawn. See if there's going to be anything nice and potent here for the Storm to get his hands on. Tokyo. Here's the invis. Might be able to allow him to get set up into the jungle. How we seeing on Ergon's Z-Blade timing? Still 1,800 gold to go. He has that completed.
Yeah, it's okay. He's got Ghost Scepters to protect himself a little, but there's just a lot of magic damage. It's not even like it gives him that much. So he's just going to continue hitting creeps. He's got a little bit of time until he gets his next bow too. Watching him die in that last fight kind of just filled me with the sense dread, like, this is what we're going to see. Meepo's just going to AFK jungle for 15 minutes, and then he's going to somehow get things done. Like, E-Blade's the right way to play the hero, and Earthbind is good, but, like, I don't know if I'm going to see what we need to see out of him this
Sure.
time. I'm a little bit apprehensive about it.
I mean, because do you sort of feel that in the games of the past where Meepo's been strong and felt strong, like 13 minutes in, for the Meepo to be having a good game, he would be already quite considerably ahead of everyone else in terms of farm.
And also, you actually have threat of getting a kill mid too, but because you get your second Meepo at like level 4 or whatever, it comes so late that feels like getting a kill there is not realistic against heroes. So it's like, yeah, he's farming okay,
Yeah.
but he's literally been AFK farming. That's the problem. Like, you want to play, you want to have like tempo aggressiveness. Just got 2 little Meepos that are level 10. They don't feel very strong. Like, what's he gonna do? Double poof somebody while his allies set up for him? Like, there's just so many better heroes
Radiant's
that could do
bottom
that.
tower is under attack.
He's not ahead. That's not good. You gotta be ahead. Ideally for Meepo to be good, and this is probably a good representation of why Meepo has not played very much, even if Earthbind's going to match up really well here. He does pick up his 3rd Meepo, though, at level 11, so his damage is increased.
It's off. At the same time, mid-TORONTOTOKYO. He's going to lead in onto Solo. Got that extra control over the field down. No escape from top lane. They get the arena down, and they got enough lockdown for collapse. He's still got Dissimulate ready to go. He's out to the side. Crystallize and Malik will be able to chase and finish him off.
Some effort, but they got him. I thought he was going to get away because they missed first spear, but able to grab him in time. Assassin Hunt and Meepo's here. They do see him, though. They have a sentry sitting.
I've been wanting
Uh-oh.
this. Over here now.
TORONTOTOKYO, he's in with the grab. Ergon, he's trying to run. Ooh, the boundless into the Earthbind. He's holding back the 2 of them.
Radiant's middle
They're
tower
going to be
is
able to
under
glimpse him
attack.
back in range of setup, but they can't quite finish him in time. As the team turns up just in time to keep Ergon safe. He's been allowed to turn it around with a beautiful Earthbind onto the 2 of them, and they will manage to protect him. It didn't look like they were going to be able to do so in time there at the beginning, as he was very close to dying to that move from Spirit.
He was. The fact that that was the main Meepo was so helpful, because if he doesn't have Ghost Scepter there, he gets hit by Witchblade, and Storm's normal routine. Instead, Storm was only able to do a ball lightning or a electric vortex into one remnant, and then the boundless strike came like a miracle at the perfect moment to buy him time to get away. That was the great response. Hey, Meepo paid off, and now look at his net worth. Now he's ahead of everybody. Just need a little bit more of this, and everything's gonna be.
Yeah, let's see if how aggressive Ergon's gonna be able to be now with this 15-minute E-Blade complete. Now he's definitely gonna be a little scarier of a target for Team Spirit to go on, especially if he does continue to have the rest of his team backing him up.
He's got to land 3 Earth Mines in a row, then he can kill this Void Spirit.
Obviously stop. I mean, very nicely set up.
Third. And there you go.
And this is it's a pretty good combo, right? With the Monkey King. Sure, it's not necessarily the longest stun in the world, but it's long enough to allow the Meepo time to come in from the fog and have that follow-up Earthbind after you have such a big reach and distance of initiation with that length of Boundless Strike.
Exactly right. Like in the long past, like a couple of years ago, Meepo with Blink Dagger was more common because they do these like blink into Earthbind combos. That build is not seen as good anymore, therefore he still has to get E-Blades, so now he's still missing some initiation. So if he can get this initiation, he can keep getting kills like this.
TORONTOTOKYO, he's coming for this, but he's used pretty much all of his mana. Is he going to be able to get himself out of the arena? He's falling low, jump ball for Crystallize, the Wukongs is down as well as the Boundless Strike. TORONTOTOKYO getting a little baited in there, and now, straight in the arena, and hit by the spear! Oh my goodness, yatoro! Oh, that couldn't have gone any worse for him. He goes in, and immediately Malik with the spear response, as this ends. A complete nightmare of a fight there for Spirit. Triple kill for Crystallize on the cleanup, and that's gotta hurt for yatoro.
No kidding. These last 2 fights are just completely game. Like, it looked iffy for them, but then they go for these kills, and it just wasn't quite clean enough. Everything goes south. That many heroes, especially the Morphling dying, was
Dire's
a
middle tower
massive
is under
mistake.
attack.
But great timing by the Mars to get him with the stun before he used more.
Gonna try and take that Crystallize there. Let me get to the ready though, keeping him a little protected. Are they able to finish him off? They will. They'll come in with the burst from yatoro, take down Crystallize. So about already seeing if he can chase for more, but Malik pushes him back with a rebuke. Are able to get a good hit back here as they come back into the game with the respawns, and of course, as NoTechies are finding out again, they've got to be very careful how they go for these pushes around this Disruptor, as Miposhka is always going to look to try and punish them for overstepping.
That's just a moment of maybe lack of attention. But at least it was only 1 hero. They forced a lot of resources out of it, so the worst. Mars, he's great for finding a good well. For progress on Meepo, he's got a ultimate orb, so going for Scotty, of course. It's a pretty sick Scotty game. 2 range cores, Spirit and Morphling.
Dude, yeah, and I mean, yeah, good luck running away from this lineup. If they do what they did there again, if they get sort of finding themselves end up in the middle of the Wukong's command, that slow combined with like the Witchblade, I mean, you're not going to be able to run away from this.
Yeah. Sound to the setup though. They get the smoke. They're wrapping around to see if they can initiate this duel.
That's the opener. Each and every time it Crystallize, starting things off with Boundless. He's going to be able to save himself a little bit of the Yules. He's off to the side, and he is going to make it away.
Oh.
Solid setup, but not quite having the follow-up lockdown now. Drag back on from Malik with the glimpse. Mirana coming down as well as the Remnant pull back, but and he's tanky here, Malik. Spirit won't be able to throw anything else into an attempt to take him down.
They really needed to kill the Void Spirit there. Used a lot of resources on him. They're going to have to back and slow down a little bit. Not the end of the world. They still have these good hero matchups, but Meepo's been hitting creeps the whole time too, so he's not slowed down much.
Keeping himself ahead of TORONTOTOKYO right now. TORONTOTOKYO, he's nearly got the BKB, so definitely a bit of a different build, but I guess a necessary one as this sort of game without the BKB against the control that NoTechies have, it's just going to be such a dangerous fight, every single one of them for the Storm. He really needs this.
Yeah, and it's going to slow him down a little bit. He's not going to have as much mana. did grab the mana regen talent to offset this a bit, and as long as he's a little careful, it'll be fine. His net worth is still really high, and his Morphling also has a Manta now, so he can get out of one Earth line. Gets the Arcane. Egg there. Initiating for NoTechies is just really hard. Like they did in the last fight, they keep Void Spirit in the front. He's got tons of ways to get out of danger. He's got Yule Scepter. If they make any mistakes in how they initiate, he should be able to stay alive. And if that's the case, it's hard for them to... They don't really have like the best heroes for just blowing up the tower safely. Everybody's a little bit vulnerable, so they got to get kills to be successful. So as long as their positioning is good, they should be able to defend. They've got some item tools that make...
Miposhka ready with the setup in case there is anyone that does try and step forward to go for the tower. NoTechies, they're going to try and hit them with the smoke. Yule's finished on Malik, so further catch and setup from himself. They're ready.
Radiant are scanning.
You can find TORONTOTOKYO. No, he's going to look over towards the wall. Straight down, follows up the Yules there with the spear into the tier 1 tower. They've got the arrow coming in, but he did get that shift off, of course, so building up a lot of MP and enough to get out to the side. Now the turnaround comes in place. Spirit collapsing onto Malik. Takes down the mark. Now to return towards Crystallize. Crystallize has been broken. Dragged back in by the Renner. Collapse. Coming in with the control. Over towards Zayac. So now with the glimpse back onto Solo, they're going to be able to find themselves a fourth here. Triple kill for TORONTOTOKYO as Spirit pull together an excellent defense around the tower, punishing NoTechies for going in too hard on the Morphling.
They killed the Morphling quite probably moderately differently, but they used so many resources. That was basically everything, right? Mars full combo, Mirana full combo, Monkey King full combo, and they still didn't kill him. He was pretty healthy, actually. This is one of the issues with their mostly nuke lineup. It's not going to work. 3,000 HP. You need like a carry that's scaling to add damage while you're disabling the Morph. Tons of disable, but not quite enough damage to make that combo look good.
Getting Roche as well off the back of that. Very, very, very good stuff here from Spirit. And something, you know, that NoTechies as a lineup, with the Meepo, Roche is definitely going to be something that would always be on the table for them, but now missing out on that opportunity due to that bad fight around mid.
Meepo is hitting creeps at least, so there's small upside. He's got his Scotty finished. The evasion talent as well as opponents are right clicking, so there's some okay things for him. But again, it's hard for him to leap in to start these engagements, at least until he gets something like a Blink Dagger or a Shadow Blade. So if they don't win like a convincing fight, he's not going to rotate over to the engagement.
Mid lane Solo trying to clear out the waves, but they'll easily take that cold kill.
There is nothing for you here.
Presented for them.
Nothing for you.
Now they can push it on to tier 1.
Tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
They got creeps very soon from close. He's going to go back for
Radiant's
a blast
middle
afterwards.
tower has fallen.
Trying to make their team fight better, basically, because right now their initiation's a little bit wacky, but if they just have Mech and Vlads, they can keep Meepo alive. Maybe Meepo can carry them through team. But yeah, the items that Team Spirit has, the BKBs, their survive with their Manta on Morphling, it's going to be a little bit hard. Alright, see if they get
Still can do this. He's got Aegis and BKB, immediately pops it. They'll turn attention over the wards. So bad instead, no get it. They take down the next assassin. TORONTOTOKYO trying to fight his best, put the rest of the BKB, jump forward. Aggressively buy collapse, they get the glimpse back on a Crystallize. But they're a little scared now, now that the Meepo is around, they don't want to fully commit. NoTechies on the other hand, they do. They chase down the side of Team Spirit on their attempted escape. Static storms out and down, but the damaging levels too much. As the Meepo army cleans up the kill, he's probably got the efforts of this. It's Morphling, but he's still living. He's able to take down the Stormer once. Will finally die though. TORONTOTOKYO is going to be back for a second round, but the timing's there from Malik. Spear into arrow. They lock in a position. Have they got the damage? They do. As they bring down TORONTOTOKYO off the back of his Aegis.
It was so important that they killed Storm when the Meepo died, otherwise Storm might have stayed alive and gotten a lot more out of that fight, but great disables by Mars. Consistently, the BKB pays off for the initiation originally, but too much damage.
Yatoro. He's finished the E-Blade. He's actually able to get in a burst for Crystallize. He might just find Malik as well. TPs are coming in on the mid. Malik's trying to run. Can he get away from this? He cannot. Yatoro picks himself up too. Casual core kills here in the mid. And now to the side solo. He's also been caught by Collapse on the way out. Was able to grab a bouncer ring, but he'll play with his life. And this will be more glory for Yatoro to get involved in. On top of the cake comes to the end. Yatoro claims another life.
Pleases me to no end.
The tankiest coddle I've seen in my whole life. The Glimmer active with Hood. It's like he actually just doesn't take that much magic damage. It's really just identifying. It's all magic burst on the Team Spirit side.
Yeah.
At least until Morphling gets really happy with right clicks. But all right, game is still pretty even. I mean, network on Morphling and the Meepo are equal. 1,800 gold past the Scotty. Nothing new since then. What he buys next? Very curious. Maybe he's gonna go Blink next. Maybe Sheepstick afterwards is what I'd expect. That way you can get better solo kills.
Radiant's
Thought
bottom
about
tower
the
is under
Meepo shard. I
attack.
haven't even thought about since I read this in past. I
I can't know what Meepo's done. What? Let's have a look at it.
Ransack, 30% chance on hit to apply
Radiant's
Geostrike debuff,
bottom
so it's like
tower is
old
under attack.
Okay.
Geostrike basically. So it would give him slow and DPS. Doesn't slow, maybe slow attack. Oh.
Malik. He's looking pretty dead here. And we'll commit the BKB for him, but they get him. As yeah, ergon's now got himself the blink.
Radiant's bottom tower
I think it's
is
just
under
the two
attack.
items as well that we're going to see make a big difference for the Meepo in the fights. It's going to be when Solo has the pipe complete and when we see Malik getting the flat stuff. Those two heroes, they're dying quite a few too many times. It's Solo also caught outside of the base. He's going to try for the TP out. They've got him.
Open to
He's so
the
tanky.
entirety of
He's
your
so tanky.
existence.
Incredible. Still dies, but yeah, fine. Sometimes
Radiant's
still
middle
identifying
tower is
a
under
little
attack.
bit of weakness in that
Radiant
grab. Ransack
are
actually
scared.
could be pretty good. It's a big damage increase for 1,400
Dire's
gold. I
top
can see
tower
that paying
is
off
under attack.
particularly. To make it a lot easier to kill supports as well when he gets on top of them. But for now, Team Spirit doing a great job putting pressure on the map with the heroes that are ready to fight constantly. So they have BKBs on the NoTechies side. It might be hard for them. Maybe they're going to be playing this for a minute.
And what about the Ags on Meepo, Purger? Is that pretty low tier? You don't expect we'll ever see that?
Channels, and then you can dig for 3.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Dispels
Any
them.
burrow?
And heals 25. It's potentially good. There's so much mobility on the enemy lineup that if one of your Mewtwo's is dying, buying him time like that, it could be amazing.
Okay.
But there's going to be like Static Storm and lots of other disables coming. I don't know if he's going to be able to channel. I've never seen any, but I literally haven't seen a Meepo game since the patch came out. So who knows? Maybe it's a solution in the later stages of the game. It's good. That's what I like about the shards. It gives you like another option in the right games. Maybe this will be the good one. I'm sure there's better ideas.
Malik. A good catch here, but the team not quite. Follow up. See some of the next big item timings. I mean, we've got Crystallize, really needing to just get this BKB done, so he's going to feel safe in the fights. We're on the side of Team Spirit, Collapse going back for the BKB after he had their Ags complete. And what was it? Oh my goodness, he's gone. He is dead.
He's been shotgun. He died so fast.
He really has. As of course, he's got to be careful hopping around these trees. They've got the vision. The storm's going to instantly come crashing through, bringing him down to the ground.
Bit of a vision mistake there, obviously. They put a ward on the high ground looking for a fight, but they didn't put a sentry.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Solo.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Spotted him.
He's out of there. He'll get a 1-1 nuke on the wave. Keep it pushed out.
Radiant's
Of
top
course, still be
tower
able to
is
just take
fallen.
down the tower. See if Collapse wants to commit and try and hunt for Solo. He's quite an annoying hero to
Dire's
find, as we've seen, as
bottom
you
tower is
say.
under
He is
attack.
tanky.
Tom, yeah, he did. Okay, then if now he doesn't have a teleport, but he does have a trusty shovel.
Oh, he's got the
so
shovel. Here we go.
Couple digs.
Are
he's gonna
you
be
feeling
fine.
lucky? Get that TP scroll.
Give him a
Dire's
bounty
bottom
ring. That's what I
tower
want.
is
Give him a
under
bounty.
attack.
That's what he needs. Screw TPing. All right, here comes.
Bounty or TP? What's he going to
Dig for
get?
us.
Dig!
Dig,
Come on,
damn
dig!
it.
Oh, come on, come on. He's got to dig. Why isn't he digging? He's not
Got a
digging.
blast. Here, blast. Wait, nothing else matters.
Solo dig. Oh, now they're gonna know he's there. If only if he digged. Oh, he's away again though. He doesn't need to get out of this area of the map. He's just been incredibly annoying.
Oh, here it is.
What did he get?
It's a cobalt.
Oh, he got a cobalt. And one of Arena's going to be dropped here. Static Storm is usually going to be walked out of. There's NoTechies able to split yatoro. He's able to split the skull open of Crystallize. Comes in with the E-Blade combo. Malik caught out by the Remnant. They've found the Meepo. Hammers down onto all of them. Ergon is out. As yatoro cleans up a second. Looking for the chase there. Malik is trying to run. Collapse has got the control. Falls into a further Remnant. That's another kill for yatoro. As these fights aren't coming together at all for NoTechies. As Spirit getting a fair bit out of control here. yatoro really starting to take the lead this game.
It's not just him, it's Morphling as well, of course. Yes, you can triple net these guys
Radiant's
and kill
middle
them,
tower
but the
is under
downside is,
attack.
while they're mobile, they can also do the offensive too and punish the
Radiant's middle tower
Nyx
has fallen.
as just a support, made him look useless. Solo finally dying top.
Oh. No, it's close.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Happy
attack.
point.
Radiant
They
structures
get the
are fortified.
pesky coddle. I don't know, I think Meepo still sucks, Owen.
You're not feeling it. I mean, and considering as well, this was a game where Meepo was very much picked as the
Radiant's
gotcha
middle
pick at the
tower
end of the
has fallen.
draft.
Radiant's
I mean,
middle
Storm did
barracks
have a
are
good
under
early game. He got a
attack.
couple kills, but he's been sitting equal to my worth to Meepo the whole time. So what's the justification of playing Meepo at this point? As long as your opponents have enough AoE to deal with him, like lock him down or something, why pick Meepo?
Alex gonna try to chase him, but they just turn and he has no chance there. He tries to set up the two coming out as well from Team Spirit, as they know that he really did go in a little too aggressive there, trying to start something off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Meepo's queuing up side of ice next, very far
Radiant's
away from it.
courier has been killed.
But it's kind of sad that it's like, oh, you need to buy 4 items to finally have options to. Feels rough. Know how to make the Meepo work. So.
Radiant are scanning.
Coming over, I mean, Crystallize position, but still, without that BKB, Crystallize is just such a liability. It just dies far too quickly. Could it collapse in a minute? A little above the opening, but it doesn't matter though. They get him anyway. Locked down in the Wukong's command. And now they can look to try and chase for more. So bad's out there. No protection onto him, so he's away. That's gone down. They call one of the Meepos. Ergon's trapped in the ultimate. He's trying to keep himself alive with the E-Blade stepping out of the side, but he'll fall. He buys back in an attempt to turn this fight around. TORONTOTOKYO is completely out of mana. Malik will be able to finish him. Malik trying for the further setup, gets glimpsed back. Crystallize is still able to get the jump in onto the Miposhka. Now, if they could get Roshan, this buyback will be absolutely worth it.
On buyback from
Radiant's
Disruptor
middle barracks
though.
are under
Morphling
attack.
as Monkey King,
Oh, and
jumping
Storm.
on trees.
If they lose this fight around the Roche Pit, this could be it for NoTechies. It's going to zip in and try and get the kill onto Crystallize. Crystallize is getting on his toes. Ergon. He's trying to finish the Roche. He's going to be able to do it. Time Roche goes down, but the Aegis is snatched by TORONTOTOKYO. He'll claim the Aegis. Meepo's out for 2 minutes. And now Spirit should be able to get a solid clean up here with the second life for TORONTOTOKYO. They're looking for Malik. They'll find him on the high ground. Malik goes down.
Has fallen.
As those buybacks, yeah, they know it.
Yeah.
GG is called. An excellent move there from Spirit to just say, if we kill them around the pit, this game's over and done.
Dire victory.
I feel bad. I want Meepo to be at least a little viable here, but I think this is a good example of it just not looking that strong. Just gets focusing.